Okay, so gracious,
Grateful, gracious, gratitude.
and gratitude, thankful.
Thankful. We gotta write that one down. All right, what's the difference now between gracious and gratitude?
Graceful
Okay.
is the act of being kind or saying
Yes.
something nice or doing something towards somebody that's nice. That's gracefulness.
Yes. Yes.
Grateful is receiving that nice gesture, and I'm very grateful for what you did, said. I'm very grateful that that person helped me. I received their gracefulness, and I'm grateful for it.
Grateful for it. So you're grateful for something happened. It's a feeling of
Yes.
appreciation. Okay.
And gratitude is the big umbrella thing. Gratitude is the ability to receive and to be grateful.
So you experience gratitude.
Thankful. I'm thankful for this other thing that happened. I'm thankful for the weather. I'm not grateful for the weather.
Why?
I'm grateful for an interaction I had, or with a person, or with a thing. I'm not grateful for the nice weather we're having. I'm thankful for the nice weather.
For the weather.
It's a bigger thing, but I can't be grateful for the weather.
Why?
Because you're thankful for the weather.
You feel gratitude for the fucking cold weather right now.
No, I think it's got to be. I think it's got to be individuals. I think it's human to human. I am
You think
thankful.
gratitude is human?
Yeah, I think so. I think it has to be. I think it has to be human to human.
Oh man. Okay, theologians, chime in. From conversations to the natural world to complete silence, so many of us focus on what's next rather than what is happening now. I'm Listening is a podcast that dissects the importance of listening.
I'm Drew Richmond.
And I'm Brandt Christofferson.
And this is I'm Listening, a podcast simply about the skill of listening.
I still don't know the difference.
I don't either. I don't think it matters.
No,
I
it does.
don't think it matters. Does it?
Yeah, words matter.
Well, words matter.
Okay.
The bottom line is what we want to get to is this episode on gratitude.
Did you forget the episode was about?
Well, the funny part is that we have this episode on gratitude. Why are we doing it this time of year? Because we have a lot to be thankful for.
We have a lot to be thankful for.
And it's the season of giving. So we're very gracious.
Gosh.
So we're very gracious and grateful and thankful. So we're doing an episode on gratitude.
Okay. Even better is we met last week to prep this whole thing, and we start off by just stumping ourselves.
But it's all the same, right? It's not all the same.
It's not all the same.
Okay, so one of the things we're going to talk about today is this concept of gratitude. Because we can't even define the difference between grateful, gracious, thankful, and gratitudefulness. It's hard.
It's a good thing we've got a holiday season for this.
Oh, right. So we got to put a date on a calendar to go on this day.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to gather around and talk about what they're thankful for, grateful for, gracious of, and gratitudely involved in. And
damn it, you're going to like it.
And you need to sit down and show gratitude for these things. I don't want to. Fine. We're going to find the fourth Thursday of the month in America, and that's when you're going to do it. Fine. I'll do it that one day, but I'm not going to do it any other days. I don't like being grateful.
Why are we grateful at this time of year? I think it's because just the weather is getting cold. It just got really cold here.
Yeah.
And so we're like trying to remind ourselves of, oh yeah, there are still things we're thankful for in our life. It's not just because it's cold and the sun sets at 4 p.m.
American lore will say it's because of the Native Americans and the Pilgrims got together and shared their bounty as the Native Americans welcomed the English settlers into their that's a different podcast. There was some fall feast. And then that kind of leans into some things a couple centuries later where it's just a general celebration of the bounty of the season. So it's in the
harvest,
fall,
right? We've harvested everything.
You now have this beautiful harvest to get you through the winter.
So like in an agrocentric culture where the majority of us are farmers, we are celebrating the whole season of work.
Here it all is. It's right here for you. And you're showing gratitude to the hard work, to the great weather. And now you're just in this spot where you have some time to reflect and be thankful during Thanksgiving with friends and family.
I think we like to tell ourselves that we aren't as thankful as we should be. I think we tell ourselves that. That's, I think, a reoccurring message that we hear even from childhood is make sure you're saying thank you. You're not saying, like, we're very conscious of the fact that we need to be expressing gratitude. Like I was just telling my kid that this weekend, like, don't forget to say thank you.
Yeah, but is that politeness? Ooh.
I mean, it's an expression. It's an expression of gratitude. It's an expression of gratitude, and it is polite, sure. I mean, but you can't force someone to be grateful,
right? But Brandt, you're proving my point. you just said I needed to remind my kid, to say thank you, and you instill that into your children, and it's everything you learned in kindergarten, blah 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 blah, that whole thing. But what happens when we say thank you to somebody? What's the very typical response from somebody when you tell them thank you?
Well, the idea is you're welcome. It is just saying, hey, you're welcome. Mm-hmm. But it ends up being, oh, no problem. That's okay. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Not a big deal.
That's okay.
We're really good at deflecting gratitude.
We deflect it. This is why we have to have one day a year to be thankful. Because if we didn't have that, we wouldn't be thankful for whatever, gracious for anything ever.
Okay.
We need this giant reminder, because when somebody comes up to me and says, hey, thank you so much for doing that. Thanks for picking that up, or thanks for giving me a ride. I say, don't worry about it.
I'm often like, it's not a big deal, right? Like, oh, so-and-so does it better. I'm really good at deflecting. Really good at deflecting. It's hard for me to accept gratitude.
All right, so this is our last episode of season 2.
Yeah.
But here's a little tip. When somebody says thank you, you can say you're welcome.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
It's practice.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for doing that. It's fine. I was going to the airport anyway. No, you weren't. Just say you're welcome. Thanks for picking up those groceries for me. I was going to the grocery store anyway. You're welcome.
Okay, so there's this thing about we don't like being caught being gracious or doing something positive for someone else. We don't want to be called out on it. We don't want to be, what? Why do we do that?
Well, because for whatever reason in our culture today, we deflect it.
Okay.
It's hard for us to receive thanks.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell happened with that. But it doesn't encourage other people to keep going. If you say thank you 100 times, and 98 of them, the response is, don't worry about it. I'm fine. I was doing it anyway. Whatever. Meh. Why in the hell do you keep doing it? Well, because I was taught as a kid to say thank you.
Yeah.
But if we receive the warmth back, but you say, hey, thank you so much for grabbing those few things at the grocery store for me. You say, you know what? You're welcome. It was my pleasure to do it.
I don't want it to turn into an expectation, though. Like, I don't want to be like, hey, you brought me stuff last week. Why the hell aren't you bringing me stuff now?
Oh, this is a different Brandt. That's a whole nother thing. Because what happens when somebody doesn't say thank you? Chaps your hinder, doesn't it? It totally chaps your. It pisses me off. I go from a 1. I go at 1 to an 11. I will look at another human being. And they walk away and there's supposed to be a thank you, and I will literally look at them and say, you're welcome. I will fill in that blank for you. I will respond to the thank you that you were supposed to give me that you didn't. You're welcome.
Are you ungrateful?
You're right. There is an expectation there.
There's an expectation there. My wife's really good at writing thank you cards.
Oh.
Really good at writing thank you cards. I am really bad at it. My brother is actually really good at writing thank you cards. I know it's hard to believe, but he's really, I'm not good at it.
I am not.
That's a thing. But I know people that, like you were saying, without the absence of someone saying thank you is very hurtful.
Which means when somebody says thank you, tell them you're welcome.
What are you grateful for right now? This is that time of year, and we are thinking about it. And I know it's showing up for me a lot lately, but what's popped out to you lately about what are you grateful for? What's your gratitude experience right now?
I am grateful. Like, you just asked me what my gratitudinal experience level is right now. I'm at a 7.5. Can I analyze that? What am I grateful for? Well, it's Brandt. I'm grateful. I mean, it's so cliche, but I'm really quite grateful for health.
Okay.
Because there are a lot of people that don't have healthy lives right now in the realms of physical health. Okay. And knock on wood, all of my family members, everybody surrounding me is quite healthy, and we want to keep it that way for as long as we can. I'm very grateful for that.
Can't you just be thankful without having to compare yourself to a bunch of sick people?
I am grateful for fine. I'll start that entire segment over again. I'm grateful for our health, and I'm grateful for my community, and I am grateful for school that my children get to go to, and I'm grateful for all the clients that put their trust in me to help them through a variety of different things. Do I have to get down to like I'm grateful for my home and for my car, and like does it have to be physical things?
Does it have to? I was just eating lunch, and I went into the fridge, and there's leftovers from Thanksgiving, and I'm eating cranberries, okay? Cranberry sauce. And I'm like, man, these are good. Like, I just really I'm thankful for these cranberries. And I started thinking about it, right? I'm like, do these come from Wisconsin? I'm thankful for the people that decided to grow these things. Like, my brain kind of goes there of like, all I had to do was go to a store, buy a can of cranberries, which I only buy once a year, and I should probably buy them more often because they're really good. But I had that moment of like, I'm grateful for this. This is ridiculous. I can just, have cranberries whenever the hell I want. That's amazing.
Yep.
Is that amazing?
When you think about it.
You want Ben & Jerry's ice cream right now? I bet you can go get it in the next 15 minutes.
Not only can I go get it, there are 5 different locations where I could go choose to get it from.
See? That's freaking amazing.
That is freaking amazing. When I am staring at the last carrot that I pulled out of my garden that's still sitting in my fridge because I'm not quite ready to eat the last carrot of the season, I think about that a lot more because of the work that was put into it and the memories that was put into it. And there's an emotional connection to that carrot because I worked damn hard, and so did my kids, and so did my wife, and we worked hard for that carrot. So I think that there's if you want to talk about food, there is an appreciation, a thankfulness, a gratitude towards food. If you do grow your own food in any capacity, I think people are a little bit more in tune to it. Like your cranberries. There's a lot of work that goes into those cranberries that you can just go get whenever you want, that you buy once a year because it's cranberry time, that 4th Thursday of November.
There's a psychological component to this as well, to this idea of gratitude. What are the things that you're thankful for? How do I practice that in my daily life? How do I bring that in? And there's study after study that shows how gratitude has an effect on our brain. We look at depression or anxiety. We look at negative thinking that happens with that. The more recursive, the more we have these negative thoughts, the stronger that thought process becomes. We turn those thoughts into habits and behaviors where we start getting really negative about things. Gratitude is kind of the opposite of that. It's a game changer when it comes to mental health. We are looking at saying, okay, instead of creating these ties of negative thoughts and negative emotions, by practicing gratitude, we are now creating those positive thoughts, positive memories, positive habits into our lives. So instead of dwelling on the negative things, we can help train our brains to dwell on the positive things. So practicing gratitude helps us.
It actually has an effect on you.
A neurological effect on our brains. Yes.
I'm going to share a story. Recent natural disasters that have occurred, hurricanes that hit part of the United States of America that they don't. right? And you get parts of North Carolina were completely wiped out by a hurricane that came up from the Gulf Coast. Recently talking with somebody, this is like 3-4 days after the event, the conversation went like this. There's a bunch of volunteers and a bunch of food that showed up. The individual just didn't really think that that food was for them. The hot meal was not for them or their family.
Okay.
They didn't need that. There were other people that needed that more than they did, which I think is also, that's that humility thing, right? This pride, like, fine, we're going to be, other people need that. We talked through that a little bit. And it was exactly what you're talking about, Brandt, is that when there are people that are interested in helping others and you have to go just a titch outside yourself to say, is this for me? Yes. But it's also for them. It's also for those that are looking to give and to help others. So if you say, no, I don't need that, that's for other people.
Yeah.
Not only are you shutting off that level, that actual chemical response of being given something, but you're also denying the people that are doing that for you. And we actually talked through it in that way, and it just made so much more sense. And then that night they went out and had a warm meal that was given to them via volunteers that was free. It made all the difference in the world. They felt better. The volunteers felt better. There was interaction. There was all that. It's just like what you're talking about. It's an interesting, there's actually it's actually the chemical that's released is oxytocin. And it's this, what's commonly,
hormone.
the love hormone.
Hello.
But it's that warm, fuzzy love feeling, emotional hormone that's released in your body. So when you're asking for help or you're given help, you feel it. The people that are giving it feel it. And it's actually been proven that you can witness it and actually release oxytocin in your body by witnessing acts of gratitude. So it's all three.
This almost ties us right back into what we were trying to define at the start of this, was the act of graciousness, the feeling of being grateful, of thankfulness, and it all kind of goes in that experience of gratitude.
It's the overall feeling of gratitude is this the graciousness and the gratefulness.
The graciousness and gratefulness are kind of the wheels that make this whole thing happen.
So, Brandt, did you celebrate Thanksgiving?
Yes.
Were there friends and family over that time period?
Yes.
How did it feel?
It was great. It was really great to be able to, well, a couple things. So we're, in the process of moving right now. So we are staying at a friend's house until our new house is ready for us to move into. So there's already a grateful feeling to have a warm place to call home right now. And then there's also a grateful feeling of having new friends over for Thanksgiving and being able to host them for a meal. So there's the giving and receiving piece on both ends for our house. That was just really wonderful to experience.
There's a reason why we get together. It's not just because it's a national holiday on the calendar. We get together once a year on the fourth Thursday of November because it feels really good, generally speaking. It feels really good.
It's a definite feel-good holiday.
You don't remember every meal. You remember meals at weddings. It's a significant day. There's a lot of gratitude, a lot of feelings, a lot of emotions. And then you remember holiday meals. You remember that Thanksgiving that one time 12 years ago? Yeah, I remember every detail of it. Why? Because it made me feel good.
Yeah, and then there's that strong emotional response, that oxytocin thing, that strong emotional response that kind of lives in our memory.
So even though I started this whole entire podcast by poo-pooing the fact that we only do this once a year and we should feel this way all of the time, I will talk out of the other side of my mouth and say, at least we do it once a year. And that once a year at minimum is a really important time.
We do it once a year, but I think we do it other times too. I think we're continually trying to practice that inner feeling of gratitude. I think we are continually also trying to practice showing that we are grateful. What actions can we take? What words can we express to do that? That could be hard sometimes, I think. And then same what we were saying before is receiving it. someone makes an action or expression of gratitude for us and saying thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome. That can also be a challenging thing, but it's practicing it.
So when we talk about the skills of listening, and we talk about what you can take away from this episode as we enter into the holiday season and into the new year, practice the skill of showing gratitude and also practice the skill of receiving gratitude. You can practice it. It's okay. You can screw up. So next time somebody says, hey, thank you so much, when you go, hey, don't worry about it, or it's fine, stop and go, you're welcome. You're welcome. It was my pleasure. There's a couple other things too. There's a video that we're going to put a link in this in the podcast into, and I think it was one of the videos that popped up in my mind immediately. And
yes, you were telling me about this.
Quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars, NFL football team, is Trevor Lawrence. I believe Trevor Lawrence was a Clemson Tiger. In 2023, they were in the playoffs, and they lost. It was a good game. It was against the Kansas City Chiefs, who, if my math adds up correctly, went on to win the Super Bowl, because they always do. The Jacksonville Jaguars do not make it to the playoffs, ever.
Okay.
This year they did. And there's a video of Trevor Lawrence, who's the quarterback, and he's walking into the tunnel after the game. They're defeated. They feel bad. They lost. They gave it their all.
Yeah.
And he stops in the tunnel, turns around, and starts greeting and thanking every player, coach, assistant coach, as they walk into the tunnel. High fives, hugs, pats on the butt, pats on the helmet. And you can physically see, after he does that act, you can physically see their body change. Some of them start clapping afterwards. Some of them stand up a little bit taller. It's this slouch shoulder to thanking them and showing gratitude towards their efforts and towards their time together. And they physically respond in a blink of an eye. He didn't have to do that, but he chose to do it. It is the coolest thing ever. You can see how gratitude changes the human emotion in a blink of an eye.
That's cool.
That locker room was different. That locker room changed because he stopped, turned around, and did that action towards everybody that walked past him.
What do you think it takes to do that? Why does he do that?
Oh, boy.
Why?
That's a big question.
Right?
You know what? You know what it does? And this maybe goes back to what we talked about. It takes a little bit of bravery. And I think it takes a little bit of selflessness, a little bit of humility, and a little bit of bravery to do that, not knowing how that was going to be received. But he took a risk. And sometimes going up to somebody and saying, I'm grateful for you, or I'm, with gratitude. I sign a lot of my emails with gratitude. Just showing that is a little bit of a risk because we don't receive it very well. And you don't know how it's going to be received. But you know what? It's worth the risk.
So it's a risk, and it's definitely worth it. Even if it goes bad, it's out there, right? That gratitude is expressed.
You still got what you need. Even if they didn't hear you, if the car's driving away and they didn't hear you, maybe you'll follow up. But you still got that warm feeling by you saying something.
Yeah, it's like good old Midwestern wave at the car that lets you into traffic. Thank you there, buddy.
We are wrapping up our second season of I'm Listening. That's
crazy.
What does that mean to you, Brandt?
Well, I will say this, Drew. I'm grateful for you and for this experience. It has been a pretty crazy year for me. A lot of new things, a lot of unexpected things that have popped up. This has been like one of the most consistent things for me through season 1 and season 2 is planning and recording this podcast. So I'm grateful for the experience, and I'm grateful for the people that listen. How about you?
I agree. I would say, throughout a 1-year adventure, compared to yours specifically, my life has been pretty steady Eddie up to this point. And I still appreciate how we sit down and do this on a consistent basis, and the people that we get to interact with and the new people we get to talk to.
Yeah.
This was a year ago that we sat down and said, I think we could do something here.
Yep.
We have people listening to this all over the world.
It's crazy.
We do it because we think we can make this world a little bit better place. And if this is an avenue that we can do that, cool. But it's also for us. So, Brandt, right back at you. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And thank you for going on this journey with me to put this podcast together. I didn't think I was going to be doing a podcast a year ago. And now we're just wrapping up episode 24.
Yeah, that's nuts. And thank you to all of our listeners out there as well. I know we put an ask out there to have just some expressions of gratitude of asking, what are you thankful for this year? What are you grateful for? And we wanted to play some of those clips for you today.
And as you listen to those clips, tell me if you feel the oxytocin by being the witness of gratitude.
My name is Tiana. I'm from Ukraine. I am very grateful for my family, my friends, my work family too.
I am grateful for a growth-seeking husband.
This is Kristen. She's married. Her and her husband own a business together and have 2 young children.
Someone who not only wants to work on himself, but who strives to continually do better within our relationship. I'm grateful for our incredibly tight and supportive community here in the Driftless region of Wisconsin.
What I'm thankful for this year, I am thankful for the small miracles that I see every day.
This is Jamie. She's the grandmother to Anna and Everly, and also my mother-in-law.
I am thankful for the leaves falling. I'm thankful for a flock of birds that I kick up when I drive past, and they fly up into the sky.
Hi, my name is Yerson. I'm from Colombia, and I'm grateful for the beauty of nature, since it is something that makes me feel peace in my life.
Hi, this is Brandy. I know it's such a common thing to say that I'm so thankful for my family and my friends and my health, but I really am.
Hey, Drew and Brandt. This is Joshua from Northwest Arkansas. One thing that I'm tremendously grateful for is the messaging technology that we have available today. We've traveled throughout the globe following my wife's military career and then adventuring full-time in an RV for almost 3 years. And the ability to not only hear, but to see and interact in real time through video calls that don't have significant delays has been absolutely instrumental in keeping relationships alive across long distances. The ability to have a virtual game night with 4 other families in 3 different time zones has meant that even though our daily lives may geographically move apart, we can nourish and maintain relationships that in prior generations would have been significantly harder to cultivate.
I am grateful for every new day.
This is Ian. Him and his wife are business owners that live in the Northwoods of Wisconsin.
And the opportunity to grow and overcome challenges that each new day might present.
My village, my mom helping with the kids, our daycare, my husband, friends. It all makes a huge difference.
I'm also grateful for my loving family and their support in my life, for my true friends who bring me joy into my days, for my mentors and my role models who guided me through challenging times.
I am thankful for how Anna Grace fixed my rabbit's ear that was broken and left me a little message on my notepad that said, "Love you, Grammy."
And I'm very grateful to be able to live in such safe area. I'm also thankful for every single day in my life because life is so beautiful.
Our staff for helping to build our business.
For my physical and mental health, and for the opportunities for personal and professional growth.
From my experience, this life can be far too short. We start taking for granted that we have a tomorrow, and all of a sudden, tomorrow doesn't happen for some reason.
My children that are constant reminders for me to slow down and enjoy the simplest parts of life. And of course, a healthy family.
And most importantly, for having a life and deciding to live it with God by my side.
So to awake each day, look out my window and take in the beautiful Northwoods, to have that cup of coffee and to see what this day has in store is something for which I am extremely grateful.
In the description of this podcast, you will find more information and a list of any of the sources that we used.
This podcast is created and produced by Drew Richmond and Brandt Christofferson, editing by me, and the I'm Listening theme music by Drew.
That's me.
That's you. A special thank you today to all our guests who called in. Kristen, who's a business owner, a mom of 2, and married to a guy with an endless amount of energy. Tiana from the Ukraine, who's currently residing in the United States. Brandy from Wisconsin. Yerson calling all the way from Colombia. Jamie and John in the Driftless area. Your grandkids will be down to see you soon. Josh in Arkansas for keeping game night and the love alive. And Ian and Tracy, Drew and I look forward to having a pint with you soon. Thanks, everyone.
As I said before, I'm grateful for my community. I'm grateful for my family and their health and my friends and all of those things. Brandt, I'm grateful for you. Thank you for taking the time, and we will see you next time.
Thank you, Drew. And we'll see you next time. Thanks, Drew.
Bye, Brandt.
Bye.
Do we want to talk about season 3? Are we ready to do that? Are we ready
Season
to
3? I got to move into a house first. So
Brandt and I are very excited
yeah,
to get season 3 out there for you guys.